Hello and welcome to Why Wasn't It Better? I'm your host, Patrick Darms.
And I'm your co-host, Anton Paras.
The 18th entry in the James Bond series was Pierce Brosnan's second outing as famed British secret agent James Bond. This time, 007 is up against a comically topical villain, a media mogul hell-bent on making his very own fake news. Released in 1997, Tomorrow Never Dies was dismissed at the time as slick, shallow, and a little too obsessed with gadgets and explosives. But nearly 3 decades later, it's hard not to notice how eerily prescient the premise is. A powerful media empire manufacturing crises, manipulating narratives, and steering global events for profit no longer feels cartoonish. It feels uncomfortably familiar. Is Tomorrow Never Dies a sophomore slump for Brosnan? Or was it quietly one of the franchise's sharper political thrillers, hiding behind the remote control cars and stealth boats? And here today to discuss Tomorrow Never Dies with us is a very welcome return guest, Peter Baldeo.
Hello.
Peter.
Thank you guys for having me back for another Bond movie. I feel like we're moving closer to the present now. We're in, I think, 97. Tomorrow Never Dies. Appreciate the invites, guys. I love them. This too will be fantastic to think about. Or talk about.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very special one for me. This was my first in-theater Bond movie. So, regardless of what I may or may not think of this film, it will always hold a special place in my heart for that reason. 97, I mean, you say we're catching up to the present, Pete, but 97 is a long time ago.
God.
Yeah, I realized that when I said that. The other day, I made a joke to one of my coworkers about Fun with Dick and Jane, and she had no idea what I was talking about, and that was that, old man moment. I just walked back to my office quietly, closed the door, and turned off the lights.
When did that come out? Like 20 years ago?
Yeah, easy.
Jim Carrey and
Tia Leone.
Tia Leone. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
But Peter,
2005.
We've had you on for a few Bond movies now. This is I mean, you're 7th, 8th. I don't know.
I think so. Resident Bond expert. I think it's safe to say we've shifted from erotic horror to local MI5 expert.
Right. Sure. The only Bond we haven't had you on for is Lazenby, but that's tough because he only did one.
I think we found the next.
I think we're gonna have to redo On Her Majesty's Secret Service, Anton.
Yeah, because we have to have the expert on there.
We do.
That's right. Updated, reissue. No, seriously, I appreciate the invite back. It's cool existing in the same universe and seeing how it progresses. Because every one of these I see is, I mean, granted, I've seen all the Brosnan ones and the Daniel Craig ones, but every one I see it's awesome. Watch the same character portrayed differently.
Yeah, it's such a fascinating film series. I mean, it's my favorite film series for a lot of reasons, but it is just so diverse. There's so many different takes on it and so many different entries in the series. Like, if you didn't know any better, you would have no idea this is related to Octopussy.
Yeah, actually.
But let us discuss then. The man, the number, the license, they're all back. Tomorrow Never Dies was released on December 19th, 1997 by Eon Productions and United Artists. It was directed by Roger Spottiswoode. Sounds like a made-up name.
Wow.
Screenplay was written by Bruce Firestein, among others, which we'll talk about. Starring Pierce Brosnan, Michelle Yeoh, Jonathan Pryce, Terry Hatcher, Gertz Otto, Joe Don Baker, and Judi Dench. The budget was $110 million. Adjusted for inflation, that's $216 million. The box office was $339 million. Adjusted for inflation, that is $660. It has a 57% Rotten Tomatoes score. Anton, I already mentioned why this film is special to me. This was my first in-theater Bond. What's your history with this one?
It was not my first in-theater Bond. I was still... I'm younger than you, Pat, so it was... I was still...
Damn.
I want to say, grade school, perhaps. So I wasn't quite ready for Bond in theaters.
I was 7.
But Tomorrow Never Dies was one of my first video games and the James Bond video game I think of at first while everyone else was talking about GoldenEye. So that was my experience having a PS1 as a kid and playing Tomorrow Never Dies, which I'm sure you guys have some experience with it. It's not a superior James Bond video game.
Nope.
It's not. I didn't mind the video game, but I mean, you're right. Compared to what had previously come out in 97, GoldenEye, no, not even close.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fun to look at as a relic of the past, but it always made me think, because I hadn't played GoldenEye with like my older cousins yet. I'd really only played Tomorrow Never Dies. So when people say like, "Oh, like James Bond video games are so good," at the time I was like, I don't know. I want to play Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, I'm not convinced, guys.
Now, Pete, you didn't see this in the theater, but you had seen this one before.
This is like one of my, so it's funny when you say it was the first theatrical movie you saw. This is probably one of the first movies that I remember seeing with like my older cousins that was of this type of nature, right? Like growing up, it was just like random Hindi movies and Disney movies. And this is a movie that I distinctly remember where I was when I saw it, and I remember being like blown away seeing this at like 11 years old when we watched it at my cousin's house.
This was a really pivotal like movie going year, because this is 97 is when I really started going to the movies a lot with my friends, and my dad started to take me to like more mature movies. This is a great memory for me. Back to back Saturdays, my dad took me to see this and then Titanic.
Damn.
Which, I mean, that
So it's
blew my mind.
You
Yeah.
get some badass Bond, and then you
Yeah.
get some badass tears.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I saw a lot of like really great theater experiences in 97. You had the 20th anniversary of Star Wars, so you had the original trilogy released as like the special editions in theaters.
Oh, wow.
And then you had the first Men in Black, The Lost World Jurassic Park, Batman and Robin, which wasn't really very good, but it was a Batman movie, so
Yeah, that's true.
I was at least invested. And then you had, this, and by this point, I was a James Bond fan. My dad had gotten me into the series a few years before. I wasn't allowed to see GoldenEye, but I was allowed to see this one, and it was huge for me. So I'll always remember it fondly for that. So Pete, we've had you on. We're kind of moving through the history of the series, right? You're more or less doing these with us in like chronological order with the actors. This one was noteworthy for a couple of reasons. Number one, it was the first film in the series, Anton, released after the deaths of Cubby Broccoli. He passed away the year before. He had been running the entire series as producer since 1962, the beginning, with Dr. No, with his partner Harry Saltzman. Saltzman departed in 1975. He had to sell his stake in the franchise due to very foolish debts that he incurred. So this film was produced by Cubby's daughter, Broccoli, and his adopted stepson, Michael Wilson. And up until very recently, they were running the series, and they sold it to Amazon last year in 2025. Number two, this is also noteworthy. I thought this is worthy of inclusion. It is the last James Bond movie to be made before Austin Powers. Now, the first Austin Powers technically came out before this one, but this was, of course, being made around the same time. So I thought that was worth pointing out, because Austin Powers changed a lot of people's perspective of James Bond.
Yeah, it caused a lot of people to just think of James Bond within the sphere of Austin Powers.
Yes, for better or worse.
Which, I think Austin Powers lands in that really fun area of homage parody. Like, I think like a hardcore Bond fan really appreciates Austin Powers.
Oh, for sure.
So it's funny. I actually think I feel a little differently. I feel like Austin Powers brought light to the series. Like, because I remember seeing Austin Powers and thinking like, wow, I actually really like this whole spy thing. Yeah, it was a comedy, it was a different take, but I actually thought I remember watching Austin Powers, and then we started watching all these Bond movies with my cousin. So I feel like it opened the door in a different way. Or I guess said differently, it opened the door to a bigger audience through a different lens, using comedy as opposed to...
Oh, for sure. What I meant was, and Daniel Craig talked about this, he said Austin Powers was really challenging for the Bond series because it made it a lot harder for us to do certain things that we had been able to do previously. Austin Powers changed it for us.
Yeah, like
and then, of course, Spectre, for whatever reason, did the whole stupid stepbrother thing.
Storyline.
Weird, yeah.
Yeah, not really sure what happened there.
But then who was James Bond Faja?
Smoking a pancake, eh?
Well, then there is no pleasing you. Pipe and a crepe.
Bong and a blitz.
Flapjack and a cigarette.
Smoking a pancake.
Dutch hater. Oh, we'll get to that eventually, Anton. Production history for
it was already the greatest.
The hype for this was really big. GoldenEye had been a huge hit in 95, and it was a return for the series, right, Anton? I mean, it was a 6-year hiatus between License to Kill and that. Pierce Brosnan, who was a TV actor up until that point, really, he brought a lot of credibility back to the series. So the hype for this one was big. How are they going to follow up to GoldenEye? Production history for this. MGM began pressuring Broccoli and Wilson to release a follow-up quickly. The studio wanted the next Bond film to coincide with their public stock offering. Collaborating with Wilson, novelist Donald Westlake delivered 2 story treatments, both of which featured a villain who planned to destroy Hong Kong with explosives on the eve of the city's July 1997 transfer of sovereignty to China. Neither treatment was deemed usable. So they decided to hire Bruce Firestein to write the screenplay. Now, he claimed that his inspiration was his own experience working with journalism and viewing both Sky News and CNN's 24-hour news coverage of the Gulf War, stating that he aimed to, quote, write something that was grounded in a nightmare of reality, end quote. While many reviewers compared the villain Elliot Carver to Rupert Murdoch, Firestein based the character on Robert Maxwell, which, well, with Carver's reported death bearing similarities to that of Maxwell. Robert Maxwell, very famously the father of Ghislaine Maxwell. Yeah. This was the first film in the series to have a title that is entirely original. It has no reference to any Ian Fleming work or anything related to James Bond. The title was inspired by the Beatles song Tomorrow Never Knows. It was originally Tomorrow Never Lies, but due to a typo during a fax, it inadvertently became Tomorrow Never Dies simply because one of the United Artists studio executives liked it. I'd say that's a good coincidence because Tomorrow Never Dies is a better title.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Absolutely nothing.
I still have no idea.
Better. I agree. It sounds better.
It sounds cool, but it doesn't
Also,
really...
like, look at your keyboard. How do you have a typo between the L and the D? Like, they're on completely separate sides of the keyboard.
I wonder if something got, like, smudged on the fax or something. I don't know. Who knows?
The secretary dropping it off, spilled their copy.
It's not like when you go to end an email and you accidentally say retards instead of regards. That's possible.
That would be bad.
I know someone's done that.
It's not ideal.
That's not even that wouldn't have even been the worst reply all that I've ever seen. Pat knows which one.
I got a reply all with 870 replies the other day on a casual Friday morning.
When Anton and I worked at the same company, Pete, someone basically replied all. No, not basically. They replied all looking for a booty call when they were blackout drunk at like 2 a.m.
Yes,
clear.
Epic. Please tell me they gave that guy a raise.
They did not.
He was I mean that was a very evident that was definitely evidence that he was an idiot, but that didn't get him fired.
No, it didn't. No. So back to the production history of this. GoldenEye director Martin Campbell was unable to return as he had already committed to The Mask of Zorro. So they chose a guy named Roger Spottiswoode. This was a big budget James Bond movie, and they decided to go with the guy who directed Turner and Hooch.
Pretty big deal.
He brought his own ideas to the script, including a number of screenwriters, one of whom, Anton, was Nicholas Meyer of Star Trek fame.
Pretty neat.
Then, just as filming was about to begin, they did a 180 and they brought Firestein back, and he ended up polishing the script throughout production, often rewriting scenes the day of shooting. Despite all of the rewrites, Michael Wilson admitted, quote, "We didn't have a script that was ready to shoot on the first day of filming," end quote.
Celia Ward auditioned for the role of Paris Carver, and Brosnan screen tested with Monica Bellucci, but MGM insisted that the role be given to an American actress, and so Terry Hatcher was cast. Anthony Hopkins had signed on to play Elliot Carver and withdrew when he heard, via Judi Dench, that there wasn't a finished script just as shooting was due to begin. He was on set for a total of 1 day. The production then scrambled to find a replacement before Jonathan Pryce was cast. This film had a notoriously tight schedule. It was released 2 years after GoldenEye, which, while normal for the series, became compressed into a rush job, which we'll get into a bit. They didn't begin filming until April 1997, with an intended Christmas release that MGM was unwilling to deviate from. Pierce Brosnan has gone on record describing the shooting process as like pulling teeth. There was no finished shooting script. The cast were handed new dialogue pages before shooting on almost a daily basis. Filming ended in September 1997, and it gave the production team a little more than 2 months to finish the editing and special effects. The model work involving the ships was shot on the same tank set where Titanic had recently completed filming in Mexico. The rush to complete this on time meant that the budget increased to $110 million, nearly double GoldenEye's. And Vietnam withdrew permission at the last minute for shooting there, and other locations, Bangkok, had to be substituted. So this caused delays and disruptions. So this was one of the first major films to be edited digitally, and this was the first major film to release its trailer on the internet, available via digital download. It was a whole 10 megabytes.
It was like 3 songs.
Think how long that would have taken to download it in 97, too.
2.50 kilobytes.
So there's
That's
for
at least
sure
3 days.
dial up. That's going to take a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, at
I
least
would
3
say,
days.
what, like an hour or two? Probably,
If
right?
you're, yeah,
Probably,
like if you're,
right?
I mean, remember like what floppy disks were about, like 2 megabytes.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
I
So
remember
like,
trying that.
yeah.
Wait, are we incriminating ourselves?
No. They released it legally on the internet for download.
I just like.
By the way, you can actually, on the Wayback Machine, you can actually go to the old site and still download that trailer.
Yeah,
That's
we're not
Yeah.
talking about going on like LimeWire and giving our
No.
computers viruses.
Read that. Oh, did you want to listen to the new Slipknot album? How about all your credit cards are gone?
How about these weird Al Yankovic songs that I've never heard of, which actually aren't his songs?
Oh, okay. 10
So
megabytes. Love it.
Enter first-time composer David Arnold, who would go on to score 5 films in total. And the year prior to this, Arnold produced a remix album called Shaken and Stirred, containing remix cover versions of all previous Bond title songs. Pat, do you have a review for us?
It is fantastic. It's a great remix album. That's basically what got him the job, too, after John Barry recommended him to Barbara Broccoli. And, you know, I think all of us are going to have mixed feelings on this film overall, but I think all three of us can agree the score is amazing. What a banger of a score.
Yeah, I agree. The opening song, too, was different, but I enjoyed it. I did.
Pete, did you notice
the
a lot of
90s.
electronic elements in this score?
Yeah, it has that. It's what anytime I used to play with GarageBand, it always used to be like a 2000 synth, like a doo 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 doo. I was watching this movie and I was like, the 90s were the golden generation. Come on, don't tell me you don't hear a good 80s, 90s synth and start.
of
Oh, I
course.
do. You know I do.
Everyone does. But yes, I did notice that it was very different. It wasn't like Hans Zimmer orchestra-esque, but there was a lot of different elements to it, which I enjoyed. Part of moving it into the present, I think.
Yeah, a great modernization of John
Yeah.
Barry's older works.
Fantastic way to say it.
It's promo break. As always, we thank you for listening. If you're liking the podcast and haven't already done so, please hit that follow or subscribe button. We encourage you to leave comments whenever you're listening or watching. You can follow us on the major social media platforms like Instagram, X, and best of all, Letterboxd, where you can see our full list of films that we intend to cover. And if you really like what we're doing and want to throw a few dollars our way, we do have a Patreon. There you can support the show, get access to episodes a full week early and ad-free, plus access to bonus content. Links to the aforementioned are in the description.
So it's time to talk why wasn't it better? I'd like to start with the script or the lack thereof. Now, technically, Anton, Cubby Broccoli would have been alive during pre-production of this. I couldn't find any real evidence that he was making decisions at that point. He was very ill in the last few months of his life. We were talking about the script earlier in the production history. At least a half dozen writers worked on this. Now, Firestein was the only one who ended up getting credit. But now, this is not rumor. This is taken from the James Bond archive book that I have, which is official. 39 revisions were made. They added 127 scenes. They removed 159. The final shooting script was dated August 18th, 1997, but that's 3.5 months into principal photography. Michael Wilson himself admitted they didn't have a finished script. Judi Dench said all of the changes, quote, upset me dreadfully, end quote. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring this up, number one, I think you can see that in the finished film. There's a lot of semi-confusing elements that take place. Number two, we talked about this with Jay when we appeared on his podcast, Anton, but I own the novelization to this film. Usually, novelizations are quite close to what you see in a finished film. This is very different. There's a lot of different dialogue. There's entire chapters in here involving Wei Lin's character, Michelle Yeoh's character, that are not in the film. And this is written by Raymond Benson, who also wrote a lot of the James Bond continuation novels during this era. And if anyone is a serious Bond fan, like us, and they're interested in this film and they like this film, I recommend getting the novelization because it's a really great insider's look into like what this film might have been if they had not had all these screenplay changes. Now,
Like that.
before I turn things over to one of you, what I do want to say is all of these script changes do not make a film bad or good. I think it makes it difficult to make a good film. and I think it had a negative impact on this film. My primary problem with this is that, Anton, unlike GoldenEye or The World Is Not Enough, there's no sense of mystery here. You probably may have noticed this too, Pete. Within 15 minutes, we know who the villain is. We know what he's doing. So pretty much for the entire first half of the film, Bond is trying to figure out what we, the audience, already know. That Carver is behind this, that he sunk this ship, that he's trying to start a war. Knowing the plot while watching Bond trying to figure it out, I just don't find that a satisfying viewing experience.
I agree with that. It also, I felt like the plot felt low stakes in a way. Usually it's, I want to start this war to wipe out X, Y, and Z population, or I want to do this damage. I want to see these two countries go at it. This guy's just trying to manipulate clicks on his ads, right? If you think about it, he just wants to create chaos so he can show this stuff.
Exclusive broadcast rights in China for the next 100 years.
Right, but every other movie we've seen is, I want to release a virus. Like, hey, who cares if this guy has the streaming rights? Like, okay. And I understandably, contextually in '97, it probably would have been a big deal. But the thing that didn't get me going was what's at risk here?
Well, World War III.
Yeah, but is it though?
Well, hold that thought. Let's get to that.
Okay.
Anton, how do you feel about what I said, that there's no mystery?
There's something you said about, now this many rewrites doesn't make a film good or bad, and I partially agree. I think that your chances of being bad are that much higher.
But you know what I mean about the mystery thing? Like, look at the last film we reviewed, GoldenEye. When Bond is sent to investigate the missing helicopter, we as the audience don't know what the people who stole the helicopter are doing with it. We don't know what they're doing with GoldenEye.
Yeah.
So we are experiencing the mystery unfold with Bond on screen.
Versus in this film, Jonathan Pryce has a sign on his shirt that says, "I'm the baddie."
Right.
But not good at it.
I mean, what does he say very early on? There's no news like bad news.
No, he's a very stereotypical action film bad guy, which for the most part, when you get villains in Bond series, you remember them for iconic looks as well as very grounded to science fact.
Fact.
It's and that's
not alternative facts.
That's a shout out, of course. But no, like they're always grounded with motivation that makes sense. And I know where you're coming from here, Pat. Like, this is a villain that it just seems a bit cartoonish, but also I think dumb. I think that this is a very dumb villain.
It's like Gru in Despicable
Let's
Me.
get to him in the next section. I got a whole piece we can do on Carver. But let's start with the pre-title sequence. This starts off with, quote, "a terrorist arms bazaar on the Russian border." That implies parody to me.
It's
like
it legit feels like
the Naked Gun.
If it legit feels like the Naked Gun.
Feels like
where on the
Austin
Russian border? Russia's pretty big.
Yeah.
Very good question.
Yes.
Also, I don't think anyone in their group chat that's looking for the terrorist arms meetup is calling it a bazaar. I don't see that.
You don't go to an arms bazaar near your house, Pete?
Oh, all the time. Right after I stop at Patel Brothers, I go to the local arms bazaar.
I like the exposition that Robinson is giving when he's like, "Chilean mines, Czech explosives, fun for the whole family." Oh, it's so corny.
It's very, very corny, but feels right for the 90s.
It does.
It feels right, but man, after the pre-title sequence, I was talking about this with Pete before the recording started, Anton. Everything Stamper says when the Devonshire is sinking, when the sea drill's about to hit, he's like, "Knock, knock," and he's like narrating it for us. And now they're wondering why the torpedo hasn't exploded. It's like, you don't have to do that.
You doing this?
You don't. But look, this is the same year we had Face Off, and like that was acceptable in 1997.
And we bought it, dude. We bought a lot of it.
I guess GoldenEye had Boris, but they were using Boris for comedic relief. I don't know that this was supposed to be funny.
I don't think so.
I think that's the part of it. Like we've already talked about like the rush, no workable screenplay for the film. If we're looking at like why does the dialogue feel cheap and clunky and corny? Oh well, pretty easy to see the smoking gun.
It is.
And you can kind of see where all the script edits led to a lot of dead ends. Like if you think about it, what do they need the sea drill for? Like all they want to do is just sink the ship, right?
They didn't need a sea drill.
No.
I was just very confused about that.
But they just need it at the end to kill Carver, and it doesn't really ever come up anywhere in between. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And then another thing, why would they film themselves massacring the British sailors? They film it?
I don't know. But then he's like, "Oh, I didn't see the footage." He's trying to? I think they were trying to show, like they were trying to start a war, right? So I presume they were just filming the people dying with
But
Chinese guns.
They don't use it. They don't put it on the news.
Nope.
Is it like just to show how evil they are?
Yeah,
I don't know. It
that's
was a
the
strange
sense I
scene.
was
And then they
getting.
like eerily zoom in on the camera too, and I was like, "Oh no." I did not see the footage, but I heard it was spectacular.
So the Devonshire gets sunk, right, by a stealth boat.
Wow.
Talk about
Which
the
I didn't
stealth
even.
boat a little later.
Oh wait, I see where the footage went. They uploaded it to 1997 World Star.
World Star.
Oh, don't worry, guys. I'll start downloading now. It'll take me 6 days.
So the Devonshire gets sunk by the stealth boat. The
Mhm.
British think the Chinese sunk it because they sent the ship off course with this GPS encoder, which, you know, by the way, it's a good thing that showed up at the Armas Bazaar. Gupta was able to put that on layaway. Bond gets called into this mission, right? He shows up to a meeting, and this is just wonderful. The amount of uber British people in the same room, it's just tremendous. So we get Admiral Roebuck, and then the Minister of the Defense. And if you notice, Bond shows up with a copy of Carver's newspaper, which is called Tomorrow, and it says British sailors murdered. And this is why they decide to send in the fleet. Did you guys notice this? They read the newspaper headline, and he's like, "Well, that settles it. We send in the fleet. There's no other intelligence they have to go on. Just a newspaper headline."
Oh my God, bro.
This is the height of MI6.
Anton, check my logic on this. Like, I'm not. This is all correct. Everything I'm saying, right?
You're interpreting it correctly.
It's accurate, Pat.
M tells Bond they can't investigate Carver. It's like, why? We're talking about World War III on the line. Why can't you investigate it? She's like, well, they have a mysterious signal that came from one of his satellites, and then they know that someone at the newspaper knew about the sailors getting killed before the British government. It's like, I'm pretty sure you can investigate him.
It would have been it would have been cooler if they built into a conspiracy of like either how Carver is building political interests and weaving it into like news and the power of news to like control the populace, especially knowing today like how weaponized like media companies have become.
Yeah.
But that's not what they were saying. It was actually just kind of more of a throwaway line. Like, you can't talk to, like, don't investigate Carver.
It would have made way more sense if they were just like, oh, there was a signal coming in from one of his satellites. Yeah, investigate him. Check this out.
And that's how Bond uncovered the mystery. Strange.
And then it's just all camp after that when they're in the car and they're all joking. And I always knew you were a cunning linguist. And she's like, you'll just have to pump her for information.
Ew.
So, and correct me if I'm wrong here. I feel like in this one, they definitely lean into it with Brosnan, but in the Daniel Craig ones, I feel like everyone around Bond is making those innuendos, but Daniel Craig doesn't really participate. Does that make sense?
He's trying to play it straight for the most part.
He's
There
playing
are
it straight.
times
He's
when he-
delivering Bond, and he gets close, right? But this one is just this is so blatant. Like I wrote it down, and I was like, Pierce Brosnan is just participating in it, as opposed to just being an agent where everyone just makes the same jokes in the series. I thought that was interesting.
You're getting into something, Pete, and it's a really astute observation on your part, because this is my main problem with this film is the tonal problems. It shifts tone way too much, and it just doesn't work. The best example of this is it's trying to be serious and goofy at the same time. We get the really fun sequence when Bond infiltrates Carver's like newspaper headquarters. He throws a security guard into a printing press, and he says they'll print anything these days, which is funny.
Hilarious.
And then minutes later, he finds Paris dead, and it's really melodramatic, and it's sappy. And Anton, it's basically like watching The English Patient for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But then minutes later, he has this shit-eating grin on his face, and he's like shucking and jiving in the back of his remote-control BMW in the car garage.
I mean, I think that
It's
goes
just
to
tonal whiplash. It just doesn't. Those two things don't work well together.
I think it goes to your point about trying to write the script as the script is progressing, right? Because it's okay, it's funny, we've done this, but we still know where the finish line is. We have to get back on track somehow. And I think that's where the inconsistencies are exposed.
I don't think this is Brosnan's fault, Anton, but I think his films after GoldenEye would really suffer from this issue of it didn't seem like they were sure what they wanted his Bond to be. It's like, do you want him to be hard-edged like Connery, or do you want him to be goofy like Roger Moore? And they're trying to do both.
And you got to pick a lane. It almost felt like a Rush Hour movie in a way.
A lot of the jokes play that way.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's all we made the statement earlier. It's all very on purpose. You know, that's my theory. Is you have this much comedy and you have such a big budget movie, there is going to always be a look at what are our contemporaries, what are they doing, what is the style of action film right now, what's popular.
Right. Yeah,
and
you're right.
it's just kind of capturing again the zeitgeist of the time.
Now, Anton, do you agree with me where like GoldenEye got it right, but his subsequent films didn't?
Yeah. They started off on a high note and they chased it.
Now, to be fair, GoldenEye, I think, had a very exact vision, and a lot of care was put into creating that film. And there was the right amount of time and planning to putting that film together.
Yeah.
Versus this one.
Did you guys notice there's another villain in this named General Chang?
For a split second.
Doesn't need to be there.
He really is on screen for a second.
There's no point for this guy to be in the movie.
Now, again, he has a bigger role in the novelization, which meant he should have had a bigger role in this film. And one of the weaknesses with this film, Anton, compare this to The Spy Who Loved Me. We don't get to see the Chinese side's perspective in this film. I would have liked to have seen way more from Wei Lin's side of the investigation. Now, Pete, if you go back and watch The Spy Who Loved Me, it's very similar where Bond is pitted sort of against, but also has to work with a Russian female agent. When something gets stolen, both of them are going after the same thing. But the difference is in that film, you see her side of the investigation as well as his.
Yeah.
Whereas this, we get little glimpses of Wei Lin. But like, for example, there's an entire chapter in this novelization that starts off in, I think, Shanghai, where Wei Lin is investigating the missing stealth boat material.
I like that. That's a cool concept.
I wish it was in this film.
She was just introduced very abruptly. So you're telling me that she just broke into this high security conference that's going to unveil this global conspiracy, or at least a plot to be able to hold this global conspiracy, and no one asked any questions, and the only one that knows she's probably an agent is James Bond, who is a banker, who definitely doesn't look suspicious at all.
And then when we get to the end, the climax on the stealth boat, it's completely different in the novelization. That appears to be the section of the film that was rewritten the most. Almost all of the dialogue is different. Wei Lin is captured, but she escapes. Carver orders them to fire on the Royal Navy. Gupta survives until the end. He gets killed by Wei Lin. Stamper dies before Carver, before the missile launch. And Bond and Wei Lin kill Carver together. I enjoyed it way more in the novelization.
It's worth it to read the book.
I recommend it. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, there's what's nice is there's a lot more detail, like you're saying, Pat. Right? You get the complete story, but I like being confused.
Do you? It almost feels like, I guess, remember, it's the difference between Justice League and Justice League Director's Cut. The Director's Cut made so much more sense, and I feel like this is the same vibe with the novelization.
In a way, yeah. I mean, it just adds so much to the story.
It had potential.
It had potential.
They blew it.
Let's talk about the villain and his plan.
Ooh.
All right, we were kind of getting into Elliot Carver earlier. I think he is absolutely terrible. I hate to say this because I really like the actor and a lot of other stuff, Jonathan Pryce.
Same.
Elliot Carver is one of the worst villains in the series for me. I cannot stand his performance in this film. I think he's awful.
He doesn't need to be there.
There's a lot of people that do like this villain.
I know.
Really?
Yeah.
He's a really popular
interesting.
villain on the subreddit.
I think
I'd love to know what they think.
Well, I know exactly what they think. They think he's ahead. Like, this is a villain ahead of its time in terms of writing and understanding like what actually is powerful in the future, which of course is like information and who controls how people consume that information. But I just think I don't think this is as smart as it's trying to pretend to be, or as people are trying to interpret it.
They got lucky, and they're inheriting it with hindsight, you think? Right, did we have any idea the world would look like it did today?
Does the world actually look like this, though? Where the owner of Fox News is like building a stealth boat and wants to launch a missile at China. You know what I mean?
That's Bond only. That's Bond only.
He didn't build a stealth boat with a missile aimed at China. No, just a stealth boat with like dead bodies in it.
Right. Totally reasonable.
That's Rupert Murdoch.
I was saving this one for you, Pete. Anthony Hopkins was originally going to play Carver.
I'm so glad he didn't. So glad he did
He backed out after learning about all the script problems.
And then he went to go to Hannibal.
They started filming this without having Carver cast, so Price was a last-minute addition.
Probably would have been paid a lot for that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised he stepped away.
I mean, just like right out of the gate, like if you're, we'll get to the budget, Pete. It's like $110 million budget. But if you're Elliot Carver, why would anyone work for him? He's a total nutter. He's a complete nutter.
Pays well.
They never go into how he got his money in the first place, right?
No, the novelization does.
Okay.
How did he get it?
Diamonds?
Basically, he was the illegitimate son of this British media baron, and he blackmailed him into giving him the inheritance.
That's very important and makes me respect him much more as a character.
I think that's the only thing I can think of is if he has money to pay you, you'll work for him.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Why does anyone work for any of the billionaires?
I suppose so. I mean, right? I wrote down he's so hammy that he could be the villain in an Austin Powers movie.
Yeah, I can see that. I think it's possible.
Jonathan Pryce has the same like smug smile look for a lot of his more villainous characters. I can't help but like look at that, see that smug smile, but also see it as the same when he played the character in Game of Thrones.
I didn't see it, but I know what you're talking about. But I mean, you like him otherwise, right? Like I think he's a really good actor.
Yeah, I
do like him. This role was not for him. There was no need. I mean, the villain was kind of weak to begin with.
When he mocks Wei Lin's martial arts on the boat, I mean, that's like rock bottom for the series for me.
Yeah.
It's not even clever. It's just stupid. And then I do love his like speech. So he's a media mogul in 1997. He says, I want full newspaper coverage. I want magazine stories. I want books. I want films. I want TV. I want radio. I want to be on the air 24 hours a day. No mention of the internet.
Little did he know.
Zero. Even the slow moments, Anton, he just overdoes it. Like, do you remember when Gupta plays him the audio or the video clip from the party? He's like, do you think my wife knows? Tell me, James, do you still sleep with a gun under your pillow?
It's like, yeah, he's just
tried,
corny and ridiculous. But you know what? Reminds me of a cheesy bad guy in a Jackie Chan action film.
Which one?
Either Project A or even like Police Story 3, aka Super Cop.
Super Cop.
Also starring Michelle Yeoh.
That's right.
The Jackie Chan connection is too strong.
I feel like they should have just cast Jackie Chan.
They really could have. But then they would have called it Operation Condor.
It's a wild movie.
What is Carver's motivation other than just being crazy?
He wants
broadcast rights in China for 100 years, but how does that work? He's like he's like 60.
I was gonna say he'll die before he sees like the true fruition.
It doesn't make sense. If also, by the way, that missile was a nuke, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they were going to nuke Beijing, and he thinks that General Chang can stop a war from escalating. That's insane.
Yes, that was the plan. After, like, did we even talk about that the British Navy's plan to stop the nuclear bomb was to literally shoot a rocket at it?
Was that the British Navy's plan?
I think so. Or the Royal... Who shot the rocket at the beginning of the movie?
Well, they shoot down a MiG pretending to be the British frigate, the Devonshire.
Oh, okay. I missed something very important.
And then they steal a cruise missile from the wreckage of the Devonshire, which I assume is a nuclear missile because they're going to destroy Beijing with it to make it seem like the British did it. But that's just nuts.
It's definitely strange, man.
But you were saying it, Pete. Like, he doesn't have any backstory. We don't know anything about his motivation. That's pretty different from a lot of other Bond movies.
Like,
we usually know what the villain's up to. Like, we know what their background is.
What he's doing. This guy's like, I just want to control TV in China. Okay, go for it, dude. Like, have a good time. Let us know how that works out for you. But I guess, again, contextually, right? In 97, looking at U.S.-Chinese relationships, it would make sense. The plot would be... You mentioned it earlier, Anton, how the film's going to be evaluated. I like this because you always look at the politics of the movie, and contextually, I think it's consistent. But it feels weird as a Bond movie because even the Bond movies in the 60s and 70s, the ones that we watched, even still felt higher stakes than the guy wanting broadcast rights in China. So I feel like you don't need Bond for this, right? To solve this, you can send in like mid-tier agent and still get good results. You know, Bond is like the guy that you need when like there's going to be something that will be world-ending. Right?
When you need someone to pump someone from information.
Also, if he's a cunning linguist, you may need one of those.
Anton, did you wish that we were talking about General Chang from Star Trek 6?
It would have been pretty great.
You think it would have made this movie better?
It would have been...
It's hard to make it worse.
I definitely would have. You're not convincing me that it would have been better as a Jackie Chan film if we also had General Chang from Star Trek 6.
Wait, side note, aren't we also getting a reboot of Rush Hour as per
I hope
POTUS?
not.
I really don't want one.
Yeah, we don't need that.
Everyone wants it, dude. But if we get it, it's gonna have to be like a Netflix Happy Gilmore 2 release, right?
Which is really sad to think about.
Yes.
So this plot could have arguably been worse, though, because there is something from the novelization I haven't revealed yet. There's another really funny layer to this. Carver and Chang, their plan is to install a Chinese pop singer, don't laugh, as the puppet emperor of China when this is all over.
That's a lie. That can't be real.
Completely serious.
You should. Yeah, I was convinced that the novelization was better. I was ready to read it. Now, in fact, I think I'm gonna unsubscribe.
But
Interesting. Okay, hold on.
weren't they no longer following an actual monarchy at that point?
Well, they're
That's
going to
exactly-
install a new one.
That's exactly what I'm looking at. As a pivotal
That's
year
the point.
dominated by historic handover of Hong Kong to British Chinese sovereignty.
But I don't know. I don't think they have the infrastructure. Plus the whole army's made of terracotta. How are you going to convince them to do anything?
I mean, they're still chilling. So
Yeah.
Before we move on, I just want to say, for anyone who says that this villain was like ahead of their time or it's very cognizant, this whole concept of yellow journalism had been around long before this film came out. William Randolph Hearst, who Carver even quotes in this film.
Yeah.
This was not a new idea in
I didn't know that.
1997.
Yeah. William Randolph Hearst. I've been to Hearst Castle.
Probably really interesting, right?
You get the experience of like them presenting William Randolph Hearst as more of like a Walt Disney type of figure. They don't really go into how he's basically why like marijuana was made illegal in the States, or just how much of a mogul he really was. But he was rich. My goodness, he was rich.
It's good sum up. All right, let's talk about the acting. I think we already talked about Jonathan Pryce and how much he stinks. Pierce Brosnan's great here.
If there's anything that you can say, it's that Pierce Brosnan was a really, really nice James Bond.
He had it all, man. He was suave. He was debonair. He looks the part.
He was
He
hairy.
does humor well. He's very hairy. His herd acting remains hilarious.
it's like he's in a video game waiting for a
in
revive.
the jet in the beginning.
Yeah.
Are you being scrambled while flying Mach 3, sir?
So when he ejects the guy in the back seat, he would have been decapitated, right?
Well, so because he goes through, he ejects them through the glass, right?
No, but the guy was
No,
strangling
through
him
the-
with like that cord.
Yeah,
It would have ripped his head off, right?
Probably.
Definitely. You're being shot out of an airplane, dude, into another airplane. There's no way you're getting that release that quick. Or you're just like, see ya.
His herd acting would have been way too intense with that.
You okay, man?
Yeah, he deserved a better script. I mean, he's so charismatic here.
He did.
And I love the introduction that they have his character when he's at Oxford, banging some Danish model. He's got the Aston Martin with him. Like, come on. This is great Bond stuff.
Pierce Brosnan legit feels like a Bond that knows how to have a good time.
Yeah. I'd have a beer with him. Daniel Craig, I'd be a little scared too.
Brosnan's not the problem with this film.
No way. Do you think it's fair to say Brosnan wasn't the problem with any of his films?
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Even Die Another Day, which is a war crime.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still trying putting in a good performance.
He's doing what he's
still
supposed
Bond.
to do,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah,
He's
he's
like, they
still
hired
Bond.
me to do a job. I'm going to do it.
Michelle Yeoh, MVP of the movie, though.
Oh, undoubtedly. Which we talked about this with Jay, but interesting for her career of just like she's kind of back. She's in the mainstream right now.
She's more famous now than she was then, which is
She was
very
great in this role.
unusual for a Bond girl.
But she was great in this role.
Perfect role for her. She really kicks ass. She really matches Bond. She looks great. I wish that we had gotten more of her on screen. I mean, they didn't use her enough.
Or more of her team, like more shots of like their motivation.
Yeah. Because it just was like, it was just weird. I liked her. I liked her as a character, but I think you nailed it, man. The first point about the script, it screwed all of them. But they showed up and did what they were supposed to do.
I love her safe house full of gadgets. It's pretty awesome. She's got all that gear in there. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Anton, do you know Bond steals the newest Omega? He just puts it in his pocket.
Pretty hilarious.
Love it.
I'll take this.
So the other female lead in the film, Paris Carver, played by Terry Hatcher.
Terry Hatcher. Lois Lane.
Yeah, not great here. Monica Bellucci was the one originally considered for the role, and Brosnan called the studio fools for not casting her.
So Monica Bellucci did
fair.
not want to be in this film. Terry Hatcher also apparently didn't want to be in this film.
Right. But she did it anyway. You can tell she's a TV actress. Just tell me, James, do you still sleep with a gun on your pillow?
It's
Man,
not good.
It was
See why
just
they killed
like
her.
there is like a there's that hint of like they know each other, right?
Yeah.
And
it's not convincing.
but it's not.
No.
You don't see the chemistry, and I think like that's so important. They've hinted it before, previous installments of like someone having history with Bond, and I think that at this point in time, like that's really compelling. Like you don't really have too much continuity on that front with characters. Some characters, but like especially like Bond women, like it's fun, but not in this case.
No, I mean, we're led to believe that she has this history with Bond and that he apparently cared very deeply for her, even though he hasn't talked to her in 15 years.
Yeah. So right when I first saw the first interaction, I was like, "Oh, did I miss something?"
Right. It's
Like, is this deleted scene?
bad writing.
It's really interesting. Like Terry Hatcher, she was pregnant, by the way, filming her scenes, so she
really?
like, really didn't want to be there. And also, she had just finished her Superman series, The Adventures of like Lois and Clark, and so that was like her like breakout TV series. So she was pretty exhausted. She's pregnant. She has a really bad script with like dialogue she probably got that same day.
She's probably
and
miserable.
Like Pat said, she's not like a movie actress. She's a TV actress, and that's not trying to disparage her skills, but
It's a different skill set.
Especially when you're given only like a day to like read your lines. Like we got Pat, read the line.
Yeah. Well, I can't just read the line.
You just sleep with a gun on your pillow.
And that's what we got.
Oscar-worthy.
That was her Oscar reel. Yeah, she regretted taking the part, and you can tell.
I feel like anyone posed with this idea is going to be like, "Hey, it's a Bond movie. I'm in." Right? Anthony Hopkins is a one-of-a-kind guy. Understandable, right? He's going to take something, and he has acted so many roles that makes sense, right? But you hear Bond, you're going to show up no matter what.
Yeah. Hopkins was wise to back out of this.
Yeah, he was. And he was doing bigger things at the time, like Hannibal.
I'll have to put you at the kiddie table. Let's talk about the henchmen. They are even worse. Stamper is one of the worst henchmen in the series.
He wasn't scared of him.
So, and Pete, you've seen enough of him at this point. This is like the 5th version of the blonde Aryan muscle-bound henchman. Like, just do something else. Do something original.
If you told me that guy was like a Calvin Klein underwire model, I would believe it. But just machine gunning people in the middle of the ocean with Chinese bullets?
He looks like a drug dealer to me.
Yeah. You tell me if I'm out at a nightclub and you're like that's the guy you need to know, I'm going with him. But
go see Stamper over there.
Yes. Oh, okay. But he's the captain of the stealth boat that's going to orchestrate this overly complex plan to start a war. I'm not buying it.
It's very generic.
Yeah.
Completely unoriginal.
Generic European henchman.
And then we have Gupta.
Is it?
Anton, tell us about Gupta, played by Ricky Jay. Played by magician Ricky Jay.
Ricky Jay is a magician.
He's a magician.
And there are actually scenes cut from the film where he actually he does card tricks as part of his like weapon set. No joke.
Which would have made more sense if you cast a magician.
But instead, they don't do that. And they still just keep his character named as Gupta.
Which is... He also looks like Mark Benioff.
Pete, I wanted to ask you about this because, you are of a certain heritage. Did you notice that...
You're a magician, Pete.
Yeah, you're a magician.
So tell us all your magician secrets.
This is one of those moments where I hope you edit this out.
Did you notice that his character's name's Gupta and he's dressed in what looks like Indian garb? But he's played by Ricky Jay.
When he first introduced himself, like I didn't Google it or anything. I tried not to read the notes until just so I don't get swayed, and I was just like, he's gonna be coming. Like maybe maybe it's the 90s. They made a mistake. I was like, there's a Gupta coming. There's no Gupta.
Mm-hmm.
There's no Gupta.
But that's my question about the script and all the changes. Like, did they just forget to change his name to something white?
Just rewrite the characters. But you want to know why? Because they used they used the name change on the title. So they already added name changes by the end of the movie. They couldn't change his name.
So he stinks as a henchman too, but there's one henchman that I think we can all get behind, and that's Dr. Kaufman.
Oh,
I loved
he's-
him.
Played by Vincent Schiavelli, and
Killed
he's
it.
not only my favorite thing in this film, he's one of my favorite things in the entire Bond series.
let's take a moment to talk about Vincent Schiavelli's career.
I'm in. Let's do it.
So a ton of films, right? Famous character actor. One of my favorite films of all time, definitely in like my top 5. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He looks
Classic.
like someone that would be in a mental hospital.
He
Yeah.
sure does.
He fits very well in that movie.
I think his best role is probably the subway ghost in Ghost.
Oh,
I
right.
don't think I ever saw that.
With that's a fantastic call out.
Yeah.
He also just like physically, he has a very memorable look.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's incredible in the 2 minutes that he's on screen here.
I
He's
mean this
incredible.
in
Yeah.
an endearing way. He kind of looks like a hound dog.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Yeah.
his German accent was so convincing that the German audiences thought he was German.
I can buy that. I can, man.
Buy it.
He was great. He really was.
Ah, Stamper, you're yelling in my ear.
What?
I love all of his lines.
Read this line, Pat.
This is so embarrassing. Did you call the auto club?
So
Favorite of the
funny.
movie.
Seems there is a little red box in your car and they can't get to it. And then I think my favorite line in the entire film is Bond says, "It won't look like a suicide if you shoot me from over there." And he goes, "Believe me, Mr. Bond, I could shoot you from Stuttgart and still creates the proper effect."
I am a forensic scientist or something.
For
Loved it.
all of the nutty things that were not written well,
They
this
nailed
was
it.
great.
This is
This
Nailed
was
it,
fun.
man.
And they rewrote this because the dialogue in this scene is different in the novelization. It's better in the film. You're right, Anton. They put all the effort into this. I like when he says, did you catch the line where he's just like, I am especially gifted. I specialize in the celebrity overdose.
Yeah.
Which, like, again, like it's very kooky. It's like it could come
Yeah.
off as very cheesy. It could be it, but
Or
hey, it
just
was
European.
the 90s. It was the 90s.
Now,
Or
what
he's
I would
just European.
say, we were talking about the tone earlier. Does it fit with Bond finding Paris dead and him like
oh,
looming over her?
hell
No, not really, but it's great.
Yeah. Very confused there.
Yeah,
It's almost like they wrote 2 versions and they were just like, screw it, put them together.
And it's frustrating because you have this wonderful character who's wonderfully written and wonderfully acted, and they kill him off in 2 minutes.
Yeah, he's gone.
What is all of his lines? Remember when Bond's like, what does he say? He's like, my cell phone unlocks to the car. He's like, no, I do it. Yeah. We get the return of Joe Don Baker as Jack Wade, Anton, the world's greatest B actor. I miss him. I like him in these movies.
yeah, it's so funny. I think you got to pay the respects, right?
The recently deceased Joe Don Baker. Mitchell. And then, so the Air Force sergeant on the plane who's explaining the Halo jump. By the way, this is the first film to feature a Halo jump. I thought that was pretty cool.
I didn't
Pretty
know that.
sweet.
So that is Apone from Aliens.
Really,
Yes. Vietnam.
Wait, what?
Sergeant Apone from Aliens. That's the same actor.
got to enjoy ourselves here.
And then we get the second to last appearance of Desmond Llewellyn as Q. He's looking like death
Yeah.
warmed over here.
Yeah, he's
He,
looking
uh,
rough, bro. He's
Of
looking
all
rough.
of all the legends to keep going, though, like good on him.
Oh, yeah. We're happy
Yeah.
to see him. He looks real
Yeah.
small in that Avis jacket.
Yeah,
Man.
you can tell he's struggling.
Yeah.
He's definitely struggling, but I'm glad he was there. And like as soon as you see him on screen, you're like, man.
Really quick on the rest of the cast. There is a murderer's row of extremely British people in this film. I just want to call out some names. The Royal Navy stuff. Did we recognize a lot of the faces on the ships? Just really well-known British actors. Young Gerard Butler is on the Devonshire.
Nice man, very kind man.
Hugh Bonneville and Jason Watkins. Pip Torrens is one of the Naval Task Force's lead ship on the Bedford. Michael Byrne plays Admiral Kelly. He's been in a
Which
lot
is-
of stuff.
Yeah, very interesting to see him in a Bond film.
And then I want to do a very special shout out to the Minister of Defense, played by Baron Julian Fellows. Pete, do you know who this guy is? He is the guy who says, Christ.
Very British.
He is a member of Parliament.
Yes.
He is a member of the House of Lords. He is a real baron, and he is the creator of Downton Abbey, among other things. He is an Academy Award-winning screenplay.
What?
He is an Academy Award-winning screenwriter. Anton, he wrote Gosford Park, won the Oscar for it. Legend. Love him
I-
in this role.
That's
I
cool.
wanted to shout out one more film by our boy Vincent, or that our boy Vincent appeared in, and it was a film directed by Danny DeVito. Does anyone take a guess?
Matilda? I don't know.
Wait, he directed Matilda?
Yeah.
Yeah.
DeVito directed a bunch of stuff.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
This film also had Robin Williams and Edward Norton as the leads.
Oh, Death to Smoochie?
Death to Smoochie.
Yes.
He played you'll probably remember he played a Buggy Ding Dong.
I don't remember that, but I haven't seen that movie in forever.
Monkey Ding Dong.
Yeah. Let me show you my buggy bumper. Well, if you know the movie, it's a very memorable line.
All right, let's talk about the production. It's our final reason. We talked about how rushed this was.
Mm.
They wanted to release it in Christmas. They didn't start filming until April.
Mm-mm.
They were working on this days before the release, apparently. I like the miniature work in terms of the special effects, but I would say, Anton, we pointed this out with Jay, this possibly has the worst special effects shot I've ever seen in any film. When the sea drill hits the Devonshire, Pete, there is a clang and we see sparks, even though it's supposed to be underwater.
It's very jarring, I'll tell you that, but I think we'll have to create like a clip show of the laziest effects in film history, because that's entertaining.
Okay, and like, I just want to make sure I understand this. They were drilling the hole to sink the ship so they can steal the missile, right?
Yes,
From the hole?
I guess.
But you know what they say? It's a rule in writing. It's also a rule in film. Chekhov's sea drill.
Okay, that's fair. I just don't understand. Why not drill the hole after the boat is already sunk? Like, if you're going to steal the missile anyway, from down there, just drill the hole when everyone's dead and it's down there.
I still think that would be more difficult to like get out, just because the sea is so vast.
Good point.
They only need the sea drill to sink it.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, right.
The
Like,
sea drill logic is...
Right.
It's gray. It's gray.
Sea drills and airships will always not be in my list of things I understand.
The blimps?
Yeah. No, airships.
Oh, sorry, airships, right.
What's the difference between an airship and a blimp?
Oh, there's a difference, buddy.
Yeah, there's a difference.
If you watch A View to a Kill, you'll know there's a difference because they have both in there.
Yeah.
So apparently, this is kind of a cool fact. That stealth boat is based on a real U.S. Navy prototype called the Sea Shadow.
That's cool, because I
It's
didn't
not
know
as
that.
big as what you see in this film, but it was a real thing that was built.
Did you know that they actually released its successor this year?
Did they really?
The C word.
Really? What'd you say? I missed it.
I said the C word.
The C word?
Get it?
Yeah,
Yes, we do.
I do.
Early on, when we were introing the film, we were talking about the budget. This is double that of GoldenEye's budget. It doesn't look twice as good.
It looks like 75% as good.
This was shot by a cinematographer named Robert Elswit Anton. He was a frequent collaborator of Paul Thomas Anderson. He shot Boogie Nights the same year as this. That's pretty good. 10 years after this, he would win an Academy Award for shooting There Will Be Blood.
Yeah, I'm already impressed by the fact that he was in the same room as William H. Macy. That's awesome.
Little Bill.
It's so funny.
So I'd say one of the best things about this film, it's shot and cut very much like a modern movie. It's really rapid pacing, and I think it works in the film's favor. I actually like this as an action movie, not as much as a Bond movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
As a movie, I think like it captures what I love about this era of action film. Like trying not to do anything too fancy, but being able to like effectively capture the action and the stunts. And I think like that's what this film did really well.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like for the 90s action movie, it works, but in terms of shoot 'em up Bond, video game Bond, it's not my favorite version of Bond.
Mm-mm.
What do we think of the MacGuffin plot, the GPS encoder?
Kind of dumb.
Strange. Strange. I guess, again, right, and I think we say this with our supercomputers in our hands and our GPS. In 97, this probably seemed feasible, right?
Is my phone a supercomputer?
I think so, right?
At this point, yes.
Like,
Right.
but I'm going to refer to it as a supercomputer from now on. Let me refer to my supercomputer.
Well,
to
I
look
say
up.
that because I think we definitely abuse these things and they're destroying our brains. But they're helpful, right?
Yeah, well, I'm going to look up on my supercomputer where the local Chili's is.
My supercomputer. That's what you guys say. Well,
I think
anyway,
what this film needed was a better director. You know, we were talking about Roger Spottiswoode earlier.
Mhm.
Not an action director. And this film needed an action director. Like the action here, I think is fine, but there's nothing amazing about it. Like we were talking about Face Off earlier, or The Rock, or a lot of other movies that were
Broken
coming out
Arrow?
around the same time.
Oh.
Broken Arrow,
Legendary.
John Woo. Yeah, like the action in Tomorrow Never Dies, I think it's fine. It's nothing special though.
No, it's
But he did direct a Jackie Chan U.S. film.
Which one?
2003's The Medallion.
Well, that's a bad one.
I remember the medallion.
Yeah.
It's not a good one.
Yeah.
It's entertaining.
Not great.
Some observations. I like the pre-title sequence. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
I do think
The
it was
song.
funny how the Royal Navy's cruise missile can't self-destruct because it's out of range, but the video feed from the camera still works.
Shh. We're not there yet. And that missile was, they were shooting that at the bazaar, right? Just to
Yes,
confirm.
yes, the bazaar on the
So-
Russian border.
I just want to say that this is cutting edge intelligence.
Anton, I said this needed an action director, and I want you to think about the fight choreography. Think about the fight sequences in GoldenEye versus this. Like the scene where he's getting beat up by like the frankly elderly looking security guards at the media party.
Is it not the first time? It's definitely not the first time the Bond series has utilized the elderly as goons.
It's not.
Listen, they're equal opportunity employers, okay?
You can tell they did one take of that scene and that was it.
They were too winded after that.
I like, do you remember the part when he knocks out the guy with like the ashtray and he's trying to call Stamper and he's like, Herr Stamper, Herr Stamper. My wife and I were cracking up, and I don't think we should have been.
No.
It's so Bond specific choreography not great. Michelle Yeoh choreography looked much better,
Yeah.
Because she used her own stunt team.
which she learned that of course from working with Jackie Chan. Work with your stunt team.
Right. That was Jackie Chan's stunt team, Anton. And bit of trivia for you, Roger Spottiswoode had nothing to do with that sequence.
There we go.
What's our favorite part of the film?
Favorite?
I'll give you mine.
Okay,
The
I know
Bond
mine.
breaking into Carver's media headquarters leading into the car park chase.
Pretty cool.
I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
It is the dumbest car in the entire series, but it is a really fun sequence.
Yes.
It's great though for BMW.
Great product placement for BMW. I just want to say someone on my street owns a BMW 750. And the point I'm trying to make is that one of my neighbors should not be able to own a James Bond car. That's why it's a
Correct.
terrible car.
Correct. It's like you. It's. I fully agree with that. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't BMW partner in Die Another Day also? Because that's where the
No,
Z8
that was
came
Aston
from.
Martin.
That was Aston Martin. Yeah.
Which
That was
movie
the
did he have
return of
Z8
Aston
in?
Martin. What was that?
Didn't Bond have like a Z8 or Z4?
He has one. He has a Z3 in GoldenEye. He has a Z8 in The World Is Not Enough. And the 3-film contract then expired, which is why we got the Aston Martin
Aston Martin
Vanquish
back. Okay.
in Die Another Day, which is one of the best cars. It's an awesome car.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's James. You're 100% right. James Bond does not belong in a German-made car. Why wouldn't he be in a British car?
Now, you could
Like him
make the
driving a Ford
case.
Focus.
You could make the case a Z8 is a pretty cool BMW, pretty rare, very rare
Mhm.
actually. But for James Bond, no thanks.
If you're gonna give me a car that has machine guns and bulletproof glass that's not gonna shatter, it can't be a BMW. And I love BMWs, I do, but not for James Bond.
My favorite moment has to be James flying the jet in the beginning of the film, then making like a really weird face.
The Hurt acting face?
Yeah.
He makes the same acting when the elderly henchmen start to punch him in the soundproof room.
Very strange. Also,
It's
wouldn't that glass
Yeah.
not shatter if it was like an interrogation room?
James Bond can shatter that kind of glass.
you know
Yeah, it's true.
the
That's
hurt
right.
the hurt acting that Pierce Brosnan uses in the film is the same acting that he used when he was getting an allergic reaction to the shrimp in Miss Doubtfire.
100%. Yes.
That's how they cast him for the role. That was his screen test.
like just look at the drama this man delivers.
He was in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, so I love jambalaya.
It was a drive-by fruiting.
Classic. Man.
Pete, do you have any favorites?
It's gonna sound corny, dude, but when he's driving that, when he's ripping that car in the parking lot and the rocket goes through, like as ridiculous as it is, I actually
fun.
really
It's
enjoyed that.
definitely fun.
I did. I actually really enjoyed that. So I'm gonna say that was my favorite. The scene at the beginning with the machine guns plane was a very, very close second, but I'm a BMW guy, so I had to give them some love. They only got 3 movies.
I do like how Carver's henchmen, they decided we need to go to this hotel car park. We need to get this thing out of this guy's car. Let's bring the rocket launchers and assault rifles, just in case.
Smash in the window with a crowbar and it won't open.
But don't worry, because the Atlantic Hotel's doors are missile proof, so we can hit them with a missile and nothing will happen.
We're good.
Right.
This is the same MI5 team. Don't worry, guys. We're going to be okay.
Plot question for you both. Does Carver need the encoder back?
I don't know if they make that very clear.
Because he
Only
already
if he
sent the
wants to
ship
cover
off
his
course,
tracks.
right? What does he need it for after that?
Yeah.
Only if he wants to cover his tracks. That was the only reason I think that concept was in there, right? Because if he's the one that can get rid of it, then there's no way to trace it back to him.
That's true. No loose ends. Got to get it back to destroy it.
Sure.
That's what I would think. But given his behavior throughout the whole incident, I don't think that was his line of thinking.
No. I mean, he had a stealth boat, you know?
Yeah. So the answer is I don't think he needed it back.
No. Now, we get a motorcycle chase involving another BMW.
Sick.
Very frustrating part to this for me, Anton. Anton knows what I'm going to say. We talked about this with Jay, I think. Pete, I don't want to ruin it for you, but so Bond and Wei Lin are cuffed together. But as soon as they get done with the motorcycle chase, Wei Lin uses her earring to unlock the handcuffs.
I mean, if you had a chance to get handcuffed to Pierce Brosnan while he's driving around on a motorcycle,
I'm going to take it, right? Because it's Bond.
That's fair.
It doesn't matter if it's good or not, but you give me motorcycle, I'm on there.
the way that they shot that was really fun.
It's fun.
Yeah,
It's
it's cool.
entertaining. All the action sequences, I think, leading up to the ending are pretty good. But the ending stuff on the stealth boat, I didn't care for at all. I had no idea where they were in relation to one another. It's really bad spatial geography.
Yeah.
How big is the ship? Did you notice how when they're inside the stealth boat, there's a giant water tank in the center, which I would assume is the ocean?
Yeah.
But
Right.
when Bond and Wei Lin are underneath it in the boat, it's all closed off.
I don't think that they just planned it very well. I think it's like they filmed that in a different scene. Or, sorry, a different
exactly.
set.
Yeah. But you're 100% right. It is the ocean. You can get in and out of the boat rather easily.
You would think. Carver's death is terrible.
Fitting for him.
The way he just screams. "Ah!"
Fitting, I think.
How does the drill get through the window? It's supposed to be on this carriage, right? In another part of the stealth ship. So how does it get into the control room?
Menacingly.
With intent. With malicious intent.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
I don't want to be too harsh on this, but I mean...
Was also, the Seadrill was designed by the same team that designed the drill in Armageddon.
Oh, that makes sense then.
That doesn't
Right?
shock me.
Yeah, right?
Makes total sense. We talked about the score earlier on in the episode. I think it's great. David Arnold really knows how to use the Bond theme.
It's really fun.
Anton, I don't think the producers have justified ever. I don't think they've ever justified replacing him. I hope he comes back for the next Bond film. That'd be great.
A lot of hype for that one. A lot of people have been waiting for that one.
We'll see. Maybe 2030? What do we think?
Would that be 14 years
They're coming out with a new
Since
game
what?
too, right?
since the last Bond film?
Well, that would be 9.
Oh,
2021 was No Time to Die.
right. Okay.
But if you're looking at it in a more extreme view, if it doesn't come out until 2030, which, by the way, I'm hoping like 2028.
Yeah, I feel like they'll have it sooner because they've owned this IP for a while.
But that
If
would
Amazon
mean,
owns it, they're going to monetize it.
if it's 2028, that means we would have gotten one good Bond film in 20 years. Skyfall. That's it.
It's a terrible statistic.
Awful.
It's like the Giants' win record.
What do we think of the title song sung by Sheryl Crow?
I liked it.
Yeah, I didn't mind it.
I like it.
I liked it a lot. I remember hearing it, and I was like, when I watched the movie again, I remember hearing it, and I was like, wow, this is very different. And then the song opened up, and I was like, I actually really enjoy this. It's very different than the typical Bond movie. Well, I mean, the ones that I've seen. At least.
It was
Sheryl Crow.
peak Sheryl Crow for sure.
Right?
It was,
and then I saw it performed by Sheryl Crow, and I was like, that makes sense.
the title song was originally going to be Surrender, the song you hear during the end credits, because that's what you hear predominantly through the score, sung by Katie Lang. Another great song.
Yeah.
I do like the title sequence a lot with all the X-ray stuff. Really cool.
It's cool.
Computer chips and whatnot. Very, very 90s. All right, we got to talk about the wardrobe. It's great. Brosnan looks incredible in these Brioni suits.
Yeah.
Yeah, always well dressed.
There's a shot where he walks out and he's got this pea coat on with like a suit, and I was like, it's just so perfectly 90s. It nailed it. And I
Oh, the
remember seeing
camel
that.
overcoat.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And like that scene right there, and I was like, God damn, that guy's good looking.
that charcoal gray suit that he wears into Carver's media headquarters. I own that tie that he's wearing with it. Should have
That's
worn it for this recording, but I forgot.
Jeez.
Shout out to Magnolia Clothiers. They do awesome reproductions of a lot of the ties that you see in the Bond films.
Oh, that's cool.
What about the World War II commando leather jacket he's got on the pre-title sequence? I couldn't pull it off personally, but I thought it was cool.
Cool.
Yeah,
Not for
very
me.
cool.
I wish I could pull off like a jacket like that, or like even a bomber jacket. I just look ridiculous.
I can't do
just-
leather jackets. I
just
can't
look like an
make it
idiot,
work
man.
for some reason.
Not me, man. It's just not me, and that's cool, right?
One thing I found disappointing, really boring locations.
Or not the
Nothing-
best use of the locations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Hamburg and Saigon are new to the series. We don't really see much of them, though.
Yeah, it's like they in themselves, I don't think that they're boring. I just think they didn't do anything with a location.
The Hamburg, Germany.
Yeah, he's just in office buildings the whole time. It's nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, this commercial real estate was fantastic.
Especially like Saigon would have been really, really cool.
Would have been unique, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the motorcycle chases. It is cool, but it's like, they're in like Shantyville. Like it's not.
Yeah.
It's not glamorous.
it's-
I'm not trying to sound mean, but like normally
you're-
with James Bond, you think glamour,
Bangkok.
Glamour,
Right,
or like
Macau,
you see how
Dubai.
big the cities are.
Right.
or-
which we don't get
Yeah.
that at all here.
He's in a
Yeah.
suburb of Hamburg.
Yeah, and the most famous action sequence in the film is in a car park.
Yeah.
Like it was filmed at a mall in Britain. It's like, okay,
Low stakes, right?
low stakes.
I want to go to that mall.
It's a pretty famous mall.
missile-proof
You
doors.
could go. Yeah, it has missile-proof.
Is it still open? Is it on?
Just in case you want to test your munitions.
Is it what is it? A Simon? Is it a Simon's Mall?
I think it's called Vauxhall Cross.
Pete, where are you again?
I'm in Pennsylvania, Bucks County.
Have you ever been to the what is it? The Prince of Persia Mall, or no? What is it?
King of
The-
Prussia.
Yeah, King.
It
of
is
Prussia.
funny because like it's now that you say that, like as a gamer, it should be called the Prince of Persia Mall. Because like people would always be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm going to King of Prussia." And I was like, "Bro, it's not fucking Mesopotamia AD."
It's like a massive mall, right?
It's crazy. It's enormous.
Yeah. When I was in Philly for work last year. My coworkers were telling me like, oh yeah, like there was this big event like in King of Prussia, like because that's a city too, right?
Yes, it's very strange.
And like
A lot
I
of
was
traffic.
like, and I was like, what Prince of Persia? What's happening?
The sands of time. What? He's
Like
back.
I'm a very professional person at work, but then when I hear that, I'm like, what's
No, it's a
going
real
on?
place. Prince of Persia, Pennsylvania is an actual place.
It's one of the most
Yeah.
pretentious names for any mall ever.
And it's
King of Prussia Mall.
Yeah.
It is like, but honestly, man, like here's the only way I can describe it. It's like it is the epitome of American consumerism, which is great, which we export around the world, right?
But then there's another mall in what is it? Outside? Is it outside of Newark?
Meadowlands, the American
Is
Dream
it- is it-
Mall.
Short
American
Hills.
Dream.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's another monstrosity. I've actually never been there before.
It has like indoor surfing.
It has a
Yeah,
ski
there's-
rink in it.
There's no need
Yeah,
for that.
it's
I
crazy.
I don't need to snowboard inside. It's cool.
But you could
thought-
if you wanted.
I thought
I-
peak society was like Wetzel's Pretzels. Like,
I mean, listen, man. Like, how do we put it this way? People that live here don't really go to like the American Dream Mall, right?
okay,
Like
No.
we park there to go to Giants games.
right.
My wife
okay.
and I never went there when we lived in Jersey City.
Yeah, like local people don't do that. Like a few things, like you won't catch me dead at the American Dream Mall, and you definitely
Well,
won't catch me
I'm
anywhere in New York on New Year's Eve.
I'm
like,
sure
no
that
way.
it's not a. I'm sure it's not actually an outlet mall either. It's like
No,
full price stores.
it's
Yeah.
it's
I
premium
like-
stuff.
I like me an outlet store. Or an
Same,
outlet
dude.
mall.
Listen, I
Yeah.
ain't stupid. I'm paying $90 for a hoodie.
Yeah.
I'll wait till it goes on sale.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to go to the mall that is featured in this film, it is not in Hamburg, Anton. It is Vauxhall Cross. I think it's near London.
Can we get the podcast to sponsor an excursion?
So we're going to be setting up the LLC at some point this year. Eventually, one of the long-term goals is, I think Anton would be very supportive of this, is we do a field trip to, what's our favorite film studio, Anton?
Pinewood Studios.
Yeah, just outside of London.
I think that'd be inexpensive.
Can I come?
It could be a write-off. You could show up. We could go to an Arsenal game.
North London, baby. North London. I also started watching Peaky Blinders.
Oh, good show.
Never seen it.
Courtesy of the Peaky Blinders.
Yes. Aye.
But that wasn't in London, right? Isn't that like Liverpool, Manchester,
It's Birmingham.
Birmingham? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've gone through most of the notes for Tomorrow Never Dies. I have this thing about this film being an example of something called Nokia Wave, which I thought is kind of cool, but we don't have to get into that.
Yeah, I don't know about you lads, but I fancy me a Chinese.
Bosh. Love that guy. Gentlemen, anything to add before we give our ratings?
Sink in.
I think we nailed it, man.
All right.
We nailed
Well, as the guest, Pete, do you want to go first?
I do want to go first. So I made some notes to try to make this succinct. Sometimes I listen to the podcast back and I feel like I'm rambling, so I'm going to give it to you. I thought the movie was entertaining. I thought it was fun to watch. I think it was a good action movie, enjoyable, but a bad Bond portrayal. I don't need to see Bond. Like you wrote it down in the notes, like Bond is not a dual wielding guy, right? Bond carries a pistol, kills 19 people, and knocks all of them out. That's what he does, right? Does he go full dual wielding? No. So I think bad portrayal of Bond, but I enjoyed the movie. The action was pretty cool. It reminded me a lot of Rush Hour, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I did like the actors in it. I think they did the best that they could. I gave it a B-.
I thought you hated Jonathan Pryce.
I hated him, but I'm still kind, right?
Okay.
I'm viewing it all together, right? Just because they were miscast, you can't blame the guy for doing what his job is, to act the character that they put in front of him. It's not his fault that the character is crappily built. He did his job. I see that. It's
Okay.
not just, so I can't.
I will blame him.
Okay, I'm kinder.
I will blame him. I'll go next here, Anton.
Mm-hmm.
I think GoldenEye set an impossibly high standard for Pierce Brosnan. The same thing would happen to Daniel Craig in his tenure, right? Casino Royale was so outstanding that it was almost impossible for any of his subsequent films to match that. This is difficult to rate for me, Tomorrow Never Dies, because there's so much nostalgia for me. With this being my first in-theater Bond, it will always have a special place in my heart. There are things I really like about it. I really like Pierce Brosnan. I love Michelle Yeoh in this. I love David Arnold's score. I think it's well shot. It's well paced. I think the action is well staged for the most part, despite the point you raised, Pete, that we were talking about earlier. I don't think it works necessarily well for a Bond movie, but it is entertaining. I find it really watchable, and I would watch this again in a heartbeat. It has a number of really crowd-pleasing moments. Now for the negatives, Jonathan Pryce, I just can't stand his performance. He's hamming and cheesing it up like an omelet. It's the wrong performance. It's a poorly written character. It's completely over the top. He's one of my least favorite villains in the series. A lot of people like Elliot Carver and his plan. I do not. I think it stinks. The script is a well-documented mess. We gave it its proper criticism. There are a lot of really silly plot contrivances. The henchmen are, apart from the brilliant Dr. Kaufman, stupid. And I think this film has some of the worst, most jarring tonal shifts in the entire series. They just could not figure out what kind of Bond they wanted Brosnan to be. Was it serious or was it goofy? He tries to do both. He wanted his cake and tried to eat it too. But I don't hold that against Brosnan. It's more the direction and the writing. I like this more as a 90s action movie than I do as a James Bond movie. So I have this ranked middle of the pack. I'm going to give this a gentleman's C.
Compared to its contemporaries and looking at action films at the time, it falls within the same tone. While itself, like Pat mentioned, has a bit of a mixed bag when it comes to the overly dramatic, to the whimsical fun, the whimsical fun stylings of any line that Pierce Brosnan delivers as James Bond. I feel like it still does a really great job as an action film from the 90s, but at the same time, it doesn't quite feel like a great James Bond film. But that is to say, you can't enjoy it. Now, when I think of Bond, I also like to think about the overall aspects that I want to enjoy, which include like a proper villain. And this one, the villain was far too weak. But we already know, and just to kind of jump to the main cause of it, we know that this film suffered from poor vision and poor writing. And Well, that's what you get. You get yourself a pretty average Bond film, but still something that I'll go back and rewatch, just at least for the fun of it. It's still, to me, especially with Michelle Yeoh in it, a very memorable James Bond, because again, Pierce Brosnan is the James Bond that I grew up with, and this film is still in that stable of James Bond that I think of fondly, maybe not so much of the film itself, but because of the time period and the memories of that time period. So I'll catch myself for the nostalgia. This film, though, I have to agree with Pat here. It's pretty average and a solid C.
Oh, dang. Cruel. No, understandably.
Pete, we got to have you on for a movie that you just trash.
But you always have to understand, I'm never going to, I mean, I think I've given one, I think I gave Hannibal an F.
You did not fail Hannibal. You didn't.
I can't, the bar is set so low for failure for a movie for me. Because, like, dude, I've watched the worst horror movies possible. And I was like, it's entertaining, right? But if it makes me laugh, even if it's not intending to make me laugh and it's a great experience, I'll chalk it up to a win, right?
And we respect that. We respect your opinion.
You find the movie, and I will destroy it. I'm sure I can find you one.
I think I can do that.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah. Look, when the channel hits 2,000 YouTube subscribers, remember, I have to watch an M. Night Shyamalan film.
That's right. That's right.
I don't see myself liking it.
You're not going to. Every minute of it, but
just remember, and I want you and Anton to think about this, because Anton supported this too. I get to pick the film.
Avatar?
No, it's not going to be that. I won't do that to you guys.
Whatever it is, I'll accept.
I haven't thought about what film it's going to be, because we're not at 2K yet. But when we get there, don't worry, I haven't forgotten about that.
Close.
Promise. We're close. We're close. We'll be there soon enough, and I haven't forgotten about my promise. But for now, Peter, always a pleasure to have you on to talk.
Thank you, guys.
But especially James Bond. These are special.
Yeah, I do enjoy this. And it's now that I saw this, I'm actually probably going to watch GoldenEye tomorrow. I know. It's reawakened the Pierce Brosnan, so I appreciate everything you guys do.
I want you to think about the statement. Best cold open to a movie ever. Any movie.
Okay. Do you want me to answer that statement?
It's my nomination for best cold open to any movie ever. Let me know. Just let me know your thoughts.
Does Dark Knight count?
After you watch it.
The opening from a Guy Ritchie film. No, that's a proper lads film.
All right, I will text you as soon as I rewatch it, but I have a feeling it's coming because I enjoyed this. Well, actually, I have my next assignment, which you can tell everyone about later.
Yes. Yeah, No Country for Old Men. So that is it for Tomorrow Never Dies. That is it for this edition of Why Wasn't It Better? Thanks for listening, and see you next time.